Hi, welcome to my video on half-angle formulas for cosine and sine. Half-angle formulas. The cosine half-angle formula, that comes out of cos 2 theta is equal to 2 cos squared theta minus 1. So what we're going to do, we're going to replace theta with theta over 2. So the cos of 2 times theta over 2 equals 2 cos squared theta over 2 minus 1. So 2 times cos, or theta over 2 is 2's cancel, and I get cos theta. And the right side doesn't change. Now we're trying to get the half-angle formula for cos, and this is cos squared of theta over 2. So we'll bring the 1 to this side, 1 plus cos theta, 2 cos squared of theta over 2. What we're trying to do is isolate this, so we'll divide by 2. So we divide by 2. We get 1 plus cos theta over 2, and the 2's cancel, and I get a cos squared theta over 2. And now we have the square, so we'll do plus or minus the root of each side. 1 plus cos theta over 2, and plus or minus the square root of cos squared theta over 2. So that gives us plus minus the square root of 1 plus cos theta over 2 equals, and I didn't need the plus minus there, just the plus minus on this side. So that gives us cos of theta over 2. So that's the half-angle formula for cos. Half-angle is theta divided by 2. So we're just rewriting it as plus or minus square root of 1 plus cos theta over 2. And I just want to draw your attention to this is positive when theta over 2 is in, so that's quadrants. Cos is positive in quadrants 1 and quadrant 4. So we add sugar to coffee. So cos is positive in 1 and 4. And it's negative, so the negative is here when theta over 2 lies in the other quadrants, is quadrants 2 and 3. Quadrants 2 and quadrant 3. And that's how, so whatever this angle is here, when you take theta and divide by 2, whatever that angle is, that determines the plus or the minus that we use with this root. So notice it's plus or minus the square root of 1 plus cos theta divided by 2. Now let's derive the half-angle formula for sine. And the half-angle formula for sine, again, we start with cos of 2 theta. And because we're doing sine, now we write down 2 sine squared theta plus 1. And we're going to replace theta with theta over 2. So the cos of theta is theta divided by 2, negative 2 sine squared theta over 2. So replace theta with theta over 2. The 2's cancel, and I get cos theta. And just rewrite this side here, because there's no change to it. And we, now, because that's negative, let's move it to the left side and make it positive. And move the cos theta to the right side and make it negative. Now we'll divide by 2 on each side. So the 2's cancel out, so I get sine squared theta over 2 is 1 minus cos theta over 2. And now we'll do the square root of each side. So the square root of sine squared theta over 2 is plus or minus square root of 1 minus cos theta over 2. So that becomes sine theta over 2 equals plus or minus square root. And this is plus, so we have a plus here when theta over 2, make that a theta, and again we add sugar to coffee, and sine is positive in 1 and 2, so that's when theta over 2 lies in quadrant 1 and quadrant 2, and it's negative when theta divided by 2. So it's negative. If it's positive in 1 and 2, it's negative in quadrants 3 and 4. And again, this angle, whatever size this angle is, wherever it lies, that determines the plus and the minus that we put with the square root. Okay, let's continue. Now just another part, just to review. Let's express this as cos or sine. Now notice that the cos is the positive, which is this, and the sine is the negative. So this negative that's here and this positive that's here determines the angle that's with the cos. So this is with the cos and sine, because that's negative. This is the sine of the angle is 425 divided by 2. So that's the sine of 212 and 1/2 degrees. And 212.5 is in quadrant 3, and quadrant 3 we have a negative. And here we have a plus, so this is the cos of 420 divided by 2. So that's the cos of 210. And 210 for cos in the third quadrant, where it's negative. So if you have 1 minus cos over 2, 1 plus cos over 2, whatever angle is here, then the minus is the sine, the positive is the cos. And we have a radiant here, and we have a minus, so a minus is the sine, so it's the sine of this angle, which is pi over 8 as a radiant, so it's pi over 8 divided by 2. So that's the sine of pi over 8 times the 2's over 1, so we multiply by reciprocal, so that becomes the sine of pi over, that's the times there, that's pi over 16. And this is a plus sign, and the plus sign is a cos, and the angle is 3 pi over 4, and we divide it by 2. And so that gives us the cos of 3 pi over 4. 2 is over 1, so we multiply by the reciprocal of 1/2. So it gives us the cos of 3 pi over 8. So that's just reversing it, going the other way. Okay, let's do some more examples. This time we want to find the exact value. And we have the cos of 105. 105, if you did your calculator, just crossed the arms there. So if I did the cos of 105, it's negative decimal 2588. It's irrational. And 105 is in the second quadrant, and 180 minus 105 gives us 75. So again, the reference angle is not a 30, 60, 90, or is not a 45, 45. So it's not a 30 or a 60 or 45. So this is why we'll get the exact values using half angle formulas. So what we do the cos, we double the 105. So we double it and divide by 2. So that's the same as 210 degrees divided by 2. So that's theta. So this, now 105 is in the second quadrant. It causes the x, so it's negative. And again, we'll think about it. Add sugar to coffee. Causes the x, positive n, 1 and 4, negative n, 2 and 3, so we're in quadrant 2, or 105, so it's negative, and it's the square root of, and it's going to be, because it's a cos, it's going to be 1 plus the cos of the 210. Over 2. So bring that right down there, make that a square root sign like that. Make it big enough so we won't make a mistake. So it's negative. And we got a root sign. So 1 plus, and let's look at 210. 210 degrees, it's 180 as far as here. So 210 is 180 plus 30. So there we are there with the 30 degrees, so that's 210 degree rotation. And perpendicular, so that's 30. So that's a 1. This is a 60, so that's a root 3. And that's a 2. X is negative. Y is negative, hypotenuse is 2. So the cos is the adjacent, which is negative root 3 divided by 2. Cos is the adjacent over the hypotenuse, so we divide that by 2. So that gives us a negative. And again, simplify. So this is 1 minus root 3 over 2 divided by 2. Now, we have to simplify this expression. We have a complex fraction, so the LCD for these fractions is 2. So I'm going to multiply each part by 2. So 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times negative root 3 over 2 is negative root 3. And 2 times 2 is 4. So I multiplied the numerator and the denominator by 2 to keep it simplified. So that gives us a negative, and that's the square root of 2 minus root 3 over the square root of 4 is 2. And that's the exact value for the cos of 105. So if you took a calculator, which I did just then, and did 105, and if I put this in a calculator and converted it, I would get the same answer as I did for the cos of 105. Excuse me. Now let's do the sine of pi over 8. Pi over 8 is the same as the sine of multiply it by 2, so it's pi over 8. So we multiply it by 2 and divide it by 2. So that makes it 2's cancel with the 8 is 4. So that gives us pi. Oh, got ahead of myself. Sine of pi over 4 divided by 2. And so that means we have a sine. Now, pi over 8 is 180 divided by 8. That's 180 divided by 8. Let's see, just take a quick, so just to make sure, 180. Oop, I said times there. Yeah, 180, I got to divide by 8. What am I? 180 divided by 8, 22.5. So this is a radian measure as a degree, so that's in the first quadrant. So that means I'm going to have a plus. And I'm going to do a square root. And a cos is positive, a sine is negative. So it's 1 minus the cos of pi over 4 divided by 2. Okay, and we have as a plus, so it's a square root. So pi over 4 is 180 divided by 4. So that's 45 degrees. So that's 1, subtract. I'm going to put 45 degrees there just to make sure, because I like working in degrees. So it's 45 degrees. 45 degrees is, I got a 45, 90, 1 root 2. So on the circle, 45 degrees is right here. So when I do that rotation, I got a 45. There's the triangle, 1 root 2. So cos is the adjacent on this 45. Cos is the adjacent over the hypotenuse, which is 1 over root 2. So 1 over root 2 times root 2 over root 2 gives us root 2 over 2. So that's root 2 over 2 divided by 2. And again, we have a complex fraction. The common denominator is 2. So I'm going to multiply top and the bottom by 2. So 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times root 2 over 2 is negative root 2. 2 times 2 is 4. And that gives us the square root of 2 minus root 2 in the numerator. Denominator square root of 4 is, whoop, gone down too far. Let me leave that there, okay? So there it is. So to make that a little bit better, so it's 2 minus root 2 over 2. It's the exact value for the sine of pi over 8. Again, we have to use the half angle formula. And when you use cos, you have a plus sign. When you use sine, you have a minus sign. And hopefully you understand how to work out the half angle formulas. And if you do, you click on my like button, click on the subscribe button, visit my math website, www.mathsfullyexplained.com, to find more information about me, my videos, and the content. That's the content on my YouTube channel called Math Fully Explained, which is just one word. Thank you for viewing my video. Hope the video was of some help to you. Bye-bye.